What's happening, y'all? I was chatting with Aaron Nelson over Instagram the other day, and he was kind enough to send me one of his whistles to try out, which I'm really curious about. I get the opportunity to try out a lot of whistles, thanks to this channel, and I'm always grateful for it. Although, can we try something a little bit different? Hang tight. Hey, so funny story. I had these cool ideas of bringing this whistle to Florida, where I was on a business trip last week. Got all my gear together, brought my camera, brought, lighting and all that cool stuff. I was gonna shoot some cool videos in the hotel room. Guess what I forgot? Ooh, look at how tiny it is. Look at this. Look how tiny this is. So first things first, I kind of already know what's in here. It's a G whistle. I don't own a G whistle. I've never played a G whistle. I'm curious how it's gonna work. Ooh, look at this. Wow. Oh, that's kind of wicked. This kind of cool handmade carrying pouch. I dig that. That's pretty slick. What? Look at that. Boy, it's dense. It's very serious. Allison written on the thing. Cool. It looks neat. It looks tiny. That's my concern with a G whistle. That's why I've never played a G whistle. Well, let's find out. Let's see how it works. Wow, that is very tiny. Whew, not quite getting up to 3 octaves. Why you'd ever want to do that, unless you had a dog that you wanted to punish, I suppose. But for the first octave, it works. And really up through that equivalent of high B on the D whistle, that seems reliable and easy to hit. Let's do a quick octave jump test. Well, there's some intonation issues, but the control of it seems very solid. Let's get down to a little bit of brass tacks. First, let's clear off some of the stuff that we don't need, packaging and whatnot. Let's check some tuning. Let's just see how this compares. We're in A440 here. I haven't adjusted the head joint at all. It is tunable. You can adjust the head joint if you need to. We probably will here once we figure it out. Let's see what actually makes it very loose. So let's check what our basic tuning is here. Thank you. Okay, can't quite get D in tune. You could, well, there's ways around that, but that's going to be a tricky one. Okay. The bottom octave, there's a couple of intonation issues, which would be tricky. It's the first couple of notes you could blow in tune, which is fairly common, I would say, with whistles. You just kind of learn that about your whistle. You learn how much air is necessary. The top couple of notes, you can't really push it. It'll break. So that's an issue. Let me see what we got for the second octave here. Ooh. After that, it gets very shrill and hard to tell. Which is kind of the trouble with the high G whistles, I suppose, in general. The lower octave intonation issues, that could be tricky. There again, if you're just playing by yourself, it's probably not going to make a world of difference. But if you did want to play this with anybody else, there's a problem there. The elephant in the room for me is the size. I've got probably pretty good sized hands, larger than normal hands, I guess. I don't know. Don't really know that for a fact. But even on the D whistle, and I'm going to compare that with what we all know is what we'd probably consider the standard, a generation. The average D whistle spacing that we're all kind of familiar with. If you compare the two, it's radically different. This one has massively large holes, which I'm a little surprised about. But the trick is the distance between them is so big that my fingers all kind of get jammed in there. Here's a little fun fact about me. This is actually a nightmare that I've had. Playing a gig on a whistle that I can't fit my fingers on. Nightmare may be a strong word, but a massively irritating dream. So this whistle is kind of tripping me out a little bit, to be honest. That's why I don't own a G whistle. Well, one of the reasons why I don't own a G whistle. My fingers just simply don't fit. Now, if you've got smaller hands, probably is a non-issue for you. But for me, it's a massive issue. This is incredibly not playable for me. I'm going to try and have a tune on this. No promises, because my giant fingers might not fit too well, but let's see what we can do here. nightmare fuel. The other reason that I've never owned a G whistle is because it doesn't really give you access to any keys that you don't already have easily on another whistle. Check out this handy chart here. You can see the comparisons, but the gist of it is, obviously you get the key of G on a G whistle, which you get on the D whistle in this position here. You play the key of C in what I would consider to be G position, G fingering, G, A, B, C. Yeah, so C would be here, which I would rather play on a C whistle or F whistle or several other things. And then you get the key of D in A position, which basically means you're playing A more difficultly than you would need to. Now, there's reasons why you do that, but it's not opening up anything particularly new. The low G whistle I'd be very curious about because of that lower tone. It's different. It's something a little bit unusual, a little bit more mellow, which would suit me and the type of stuff that I play a lot better, I think. It wouldn't really, again, expand your ability to play in different keys, unusual keys, but it does change up the positions in a way that might be interesting. I'm not sure. I've never owned one of those either. But that's my take on this. I think there's something here. I think there's some refinement to be done. One, this mouthpiece it moves a bit, so there's probably a way to stiffen that up, whether you wrap it with Teflon tape or something. But this sliding bit, that's going to be a bit of an issue. The intonation, I think, probably needs a bit of a tweak, but I like the look of it. I think it's cool. It's copper, it's dense, which if you guys have watched my videos before, you know that I prefer that to a lightweight, kind of flimsy thing. I prefer something that's well balanced, and you know what you can hold on to it. You know what you're playing. I'd be curious to see what these whistles would do in more of a standard key or a lower key. Might be interesting. The materials are very cool. I dig that. Let me know what y'all think. Links down below. More information down below. Aaron, thanks so much for reaching out. I'm really glad to get a chance to try something new. This is a unique instrument. Keep working on it. I think you've got something cool here. I think it's a neat concept, and it's something that is unusual in the market, and I'm always interested to try that. So again, I really appreciate it. The rest of you guys, I will see y'all in the next one. Cheers.